Okay, guys, so now that we've kind of gotten over all of the boring paperwork stuff, I kind of want you guys to walk me through a interaction where we can identify some issues. Usually, so I'll start with you, Eric. What are some things, patterns in your relationship that you see that kind of happen frequently? Can you think of a scenario or a situation?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes like I'll get home from work and I walk in the room and like all the girls will just stop talking. Or I'll like get home from work and I'll want to go out with my guy friends, and Sarah will say, yeah, that's fine, but obviously I know that she's not fine with it, and it feels like if I stay home, then she's just annoyed with me for even asking. So then I usually just go out because at least there it's like no one's mad at me.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is you'll get home, you'll ask Sarah if it's okay if you go out with your friends, and either one or two things can happen. Either she'll say yes or she'll say no, but either interaction feels, would you say, inauthentic to you? Which then leads you to want to leave anyways, because either way she's gonna be upset. And then what happens when you come back home?
It depends on what time. Like if you're still up, it's like we talk for a few minutes and then go to sleep, or sometimes I get home and she's already asleep, so then I'll just like stay up and, you know, watch TV or whatever, and then I'll go to bed later. If it's like really it's a lot of tension at home, then I'll just try to stay out till she goes to sleep so that I don't have to like interact at all, because it's just like I'm always like, it's like I can't do anything right, so I'd rather not hear that at the end of the day.
Wow. So I'm hearing that if you already foresee the interaction with Sarah upon your return being more of like a conflict scenario, you're more likely to want to stay out and kind of avoid that interaction. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to kind of the beginning of this scenario when you say you're wanting to go out and you ask Sarah. What does that look like?
Well, sometimes I get home from work and I'm like so excited to see them and like just be home and make dinner, and then when mostly her daughters, just like when they give me like weird looks or they just stop talking when I walk in the room, I just feel awkward. And then I look at Sarah and she doesn't acknowledge it. She doesn't say anything to them. She doesn't like prompt them to try to interact with me. So then I'm like, okay, well, obviously I'm not wanted here.
Oh, wow, okay.
So then I just say, hey, can I go do this? Because I want her to know what I'm doing. I don't want her to think I'm just leaving. But sometimes I want her to say, no, I want you to stay. But she never says that. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'll go where I'm wanted.
Okay. So you come home and you're wanting to interact with your wife and the girls. But when you're met with resistance, or when you're met with, I'm hearing a little bit like feelings of like not being wanted, or of feeling that being very aware of that feeling, and also kind of feeling unsupported by Sarah once that interaction doesn't lead to positive connections, which then leaves you in this place of like not even wanting to be there. Like I don't feel wanted, so I don't want to be here. And then I also hear you wanting to honor your relationship with your wife and saying, but I'm also gonna let her know. I don't want her to feel like I don't care, that I don't want to be there. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, unsupported is a good word.
Yeah. It sounds like that's a really tough situation to be in, and in this wanting to be included, but then feeling very much like you're not, like this kind of tug and pull relationship with it, right?
Yeah.
Sarah, as you hear Eric kind of talking about that dynamic, that initial dynamic of okay, this is where I'm at when I get home, and this is kind of what I'm wanting out of the relationship. I don't get that. I don't feel supported, and so then I kind of want to go somewhere else where I'll feel those connections or I'll feel wanted. How does it make you feel to hear that from him?
Kind of sad. I mean, you've never really told me about how you're feeling about that when you decide to go and drink or go out with your guys. I see it as you come home and you don't want to even try to spend time with the girls or with me, and when you ask to go get a drink, I'm like, it seems like that's what you want to do more, so I say that's fine, but I think hearing why you do it, it just makes me feel sad that that's the environment you feel like you were walking into every time you come home, because I don't want that for you. But from my perspective, I guess I've seen it differently this whole time.
So before I get your perspective, I kind of want to go back a little bit to Eric and this, something that you said really caught my attention when you said, sometimes I asked to go out just to hear her say no, stay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that desire of wanting Sarah to kind of step in and say, no, I want you here. You belong here. I need you here. Or when you say that, when you say, sometimes I just want her to want me to say she wants me to stay, I wonder what you're feeling under that. What is that feeling that's underneath that desire of her letting you know that she wants you to stay?
I feel kind of scared because I go home and I moved into her house, we got married, a lot of people told us that we shouldn't get married. I put everything into this relationship and we share everything, and so it's scary to think what if I'm actually not wanted here. And when honestly, it's shocking that you don't know, but I feel that way. I get that I've never told you, but it's so obvious to me. So it's when I get home from work, I don't go straight to hang out with my friends. I come to try to connect with her.
Yeah.
And then when I don't ever hear no, please stay, then it's
those feelings of oh snap, did I make a mistake?
Yeah.
Is what everybody else saying true? And then the sadness that comes with that, right? Accompanied with those feelings of, is everything gonna come to fruition? That I was kind of warned about, right?
Yeah.
And I also again hear this repetitiveness of is this even? Am I even a part of this family, right? You kind of mentioned kind of being placed into this unit that was already created and was already operational, and now you've been placed in it. And so when the interactions don't go as you would like them to, kind of that sadness seeps in because of the ideas that we have with that. And then you said you let Sarah know, I'm surprised you don't know that that's what I want. I know I've never shared that, so you never explicitly say, hey, I wish you would do that. I wonder how it would feel for you right now to let Sarah know that in here. Let her know that that's what you desire.
I want to be a part of the family, and I'm not just working for myself anymore. I'm working for all of us, and when I get home, it'd be really nice if everyone stopped what they were doing to greet me, because I feel on my days where I'm off and like you guys get home, like I'm always trying to talk to you and figure out what you guys did and how your day was. And so when no one does anything when I get home, it just feels like I'm not wanted. And when I'm at work, I'm thinking about you all day, so I really want to be able to spend time together when I'm not working.
I want you to feel like you belong in this family too, and I feel bad that you've seen, it seems like you've been wanting me to know this for so long, and I didn't pick up on it. So I really appreciate you letting me know, and I think there's a lot of work a lot more work that I can do with the girls in terms of having them be more open to you. But there's just a place where I'm at where I feel like I'm being pulled in different directions. I want to give so much time and love to you, and I want you to be within the family and feel accepted and feel welcome. But I also have to gauge where the girls are at in having a new father figure in their lives, and that's honestly, it's just really hard for them, and it's hard for me to, I guess, meet everyone's needs right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that sounds like a lot. And I also want to validate this piece that you mentioned of like, you say, I'm sorry it took me so long to see it that way, but I want to remind you that Eric has never expressed that verbally, right? And so, unfortunately, as much as we want to believe that we can read each other's minds, it's just not how we work as humans, you know? And so validating that you didn't know because he never told you, you know? And to this piece that you're saying, like, I want to help you and I want to support you and I want to make you feel so loved in this house. And I also have these 2 children that have been in my life for the past 20 years, you know? And so for you, this dynamic of like, how do I balance that, right? Like how do I handle both of these things? And that sounds really hard.
Yeah. It just feels impossible right now. I want everybody to feel comfortable in the home, but right now it feels like I'm in the middle of it and I'm causing conflicts both ways because Eric's in my life now, and that's causing some weird stuff with the girls, but they also are impacting Eric, and then our relationship just gets messy. So yeah, it feels impossible to move in any direction right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop it. I think that's plenty.